Good evening, fellow watchers of RPG Enlightenment. Tonight, of all nights, we shall begin our journey through Tiira, our homebrew setting that's me and these fine gentlemen here that I am with have created. I have no idea what I'm doing, and neither do any of my players. So we will take a brief moment to feel sorry for me as everybody else introduces themselves. So we will start on my left. So Damien, go ahead and introduce yourself, your character, anything you want to plug or say about your character.
All right. My name's Damien. I'm playing a elf bard that has a really weird name, so you can just call me Deo. Other than that, I'm just out here trying to figure out my origins.
Okay. Is there anything you want to specify about your character?
Not at this time.
Okay. Ooh, mysterious. Awesome. And then we have the second Josh of the group. Go ahead, Josh, and introduce yourself, your character, anything you want to plug, and anything you want to say about your character.
Hey everybody, my name is Josh. I run the YouTube channel Roll the Bones, currently inactive, hoping to be active soon. Keep a lookout for that. I'm playing Safi Daro, the Tiefling Druid. Yeah, we on a boat, as far as I know, and we're going to do some sailing and some exploring and some origin story digging. But yeah, that's about it.
All right, awesome. And then Luke.
Howdy, everybody. So I will be playing Tordek Ungard. He was a dwarf monk. I'm also stuck in a boat, and I would much prefer to be on land right now.
And Sir Jaren.
Hey guys, it's Jaren from Power Up Gamers. Tonight I will be playing Wobble's Glitter Gem, a gay gnome druid.
Awesome. Is there anything you would like to specify about your character? Although that does pretty much sum him up pretty well.
Yeah, I think everything else will be seen in game, so.
Awesome. And last but not least, Jordan.
Yeah, there you go. You got it right. All right. Yeah, I'm Jordan. I run the channel Tabletop Dads. I'm playing the half-elf wizard Fiven Anselm. If he had any friends, they would call him Fiv, but he doesn't. He's 20 years old. He is headstrong. He's indifferent to people, so that's the reason he would prefer to be on land. Not preferring geography, he just would prefer to not be around people. But yeah, so he's an orphan. He doesn't know anything about his father. He doesn't know anything about his mother. He was raised by a couple of humans because half-elves can't reproduce, so no one wants to keep a half-elf when your line ends. So, see what I can find out.
Okay. So I have a question for all of you. Would you have slept in your armor?
What is this armor you speak of?
I was gonna say I don't armor.
For those of you who have armor.
Yeah.
I wonder if you were a human, would you help me?
Effie sleeps in her furs, for sure. Pretty much all the time.
Okay. Jaren, do you have armor? And if you do, would you wear your armor?
Of course, it's not. He tends to wear very brightly colored clothing.
Okay. For the ones who will wear armor, you will start this game with 1 level of exhaustion. It may or may not come into play, but that is how this is going to start. So, as the screen opens, or as the film begins, essentially, if we go thematically, it is a bright light. Panning out, you start to see the bright blues of the sky stretching vastly across the land. Almost no clouds in the sky. The sun is at its highest point in the day. The only shade on the ship that you all are on only comes from the mass itself, that provides very little shade to those of you aboard. On the entirety of, essentially, you all stand on the deck of the ship, surrounding a rather large table with the captain of the ship. On that table is the treasure map that you all have banded together to find the lost treasures of Cohog.
Cohog? You mean like Rhode Island Cohog?
As yeah, so the map is laid out on the table in front of the captain's quarters. Everybody give me a perception check. Ooh. Okay. All right, it looks like everybody else is getting your back, Jordan, because, yeah, that was horrible.
You go with a wisdom score of 0, you know?
Did everyone with exhaustion roll with disadvantage?
Yeah.
I hate it.
Okay. All right, so let's see. Luke, you would notice off in the distance land beginning to form. And you'd hear from the crow's nest, land.
Hey, there's seahorses too.
What are you guys doing? So, Jaren, I know you said that you didn't hear. Essentially, Luke notices off in the distance some form of land, and shortly after he notices, he hears from the crow's nest, land ho.
Fiv would scoop up his wand and his spellbook off the table and just run out to the front of the ship, trying to spot it and see if he can, from all his knowledgeable reading in his short 20 years, if he can pick out just what kind of land, what landmass it is. He probably doesn't really know, but he thinks he knows.
All right.
Taffy would likely kind of follow up behind Fiven, slower, a little more exhausted. She's got bags under her eyes. She's kind of wiping the sleepies from her eyes, even though it's probably like 11 or 12 in the afternoon or at noon. It's just been a long couple of days on the ship, and not sleeping so well in our armor. She sidles up beside Fiven at the helm of the port of the ship, and just kind of looks over to the encroaching landmass.
Luke, what are you doing?
Tordik is right up at the front, basically waiting to see as close as he can get to the front of the ship, so that as soon as we get to land, he'll try to jump.
Awesome. Jaren?
Bubbles would head above the active. basically near where the plank would be lower once they hit the ground. And then he look over at his companion and say, "It's about time. After all, someone such as myself deserves the luxury of civilization. And it's bad enough that we can't even have hot water, but to be surrounded by sailors of all things. Come on, I need my manly beefcakes."
I really gotta get used to that. So yeah, as you guys approach, you begin to notice land forming, growing bigger and bigger along. The closer you get, the closer you guys get, you do notice that for whatever reason, there's another ship there. Of rather large ship, just like the one that you guys are on. It seems to have made, I guess, their version of port. Obviously, just run up into the sand and anchored down to keep the ship there.
Is there any discerning marks on the ship that would tell us origin or who it belongs to?
Go ahead and give me an investigation to see if you can notice anything.
Ooh, that one I'm good at. That is a modified 20.
Oh, okay. So out in the distance, you would start to notice that it has some rather weird engravings in it. It would come up to you, and I'm pretty sure it would be rather easy at the end of it, the closer you got, to notice the black flag hanging from its mast. The engravings of the swords that have essentially carved its way into the actual hull of the ship from the fights that they've had. So essentially it's a pirate ship.
Seems we're not alone here, gentlemen. Pirates have already landed.
That is unfortunate. I was hoping that we would get here first. She kind of shrugs and shoulders her bag.
So about 20 minutes go by as you guys start to approach that landmass, and you make port or run up on the sand probably about 30 to 40 feet away from this other ship. The captain of the ship bids you all farewell, as this is the place where you all were to be dropped off. And he has his men pull his ship off of the land, and he sails away, leaving you all on the shores of this landmass.
Safi would kind of turn to her compatriots. Well, I guess it is a good thing that he left. He's not going to want the portions of the profits. She kind of chuckles to herself.
Yeah, he was useless anyway. We have this ship to take back. And he points to the one with the black flag.
Awesome. So, Luke, where's your map?
It's in my pocket, of course. As Tordak pulls it out and checks it to see if the ship falls anywhere on it.
I was just asking because you never grabbed it off of the table. So that's why I was asking if you would actually still have it. Because you ran up to the...
Campaign over before it started.
I mean, it's your call. I did say that there was about 20 minutes. But
So
would you honestly...
In the 20-minute span, I notice it's not in my pocket. I see who has it. And I grab it out of his hands and this is my map. Back in my pocket. And then 20 minutes into the future, I pull it out of my pocket.
All right, just I mean, I want to believe that up to you.
How bad that would have been. Tordik, where's the map? Oh crap!
Hey, one awesome way to start a campaign. So as you pull out the map, this island essentially is the X. This island was too small for where the X to actually be. Essentially like the island's like that, right? And then the X is like going over it. So essentially, all you know is that it's somewhere on this island. But I mean, from what you guys are able to see, you are at least on the right island. So essentially, on the island, you are on the shore of the island. The white sand stretching as far as the eye can see on either side. And in front of you stands a vast jungle where there does appear to be some cuts in the like the brush of the tree line.
Steffi would walk up to the tree line near where you would see the slashes, and I'd like to roll a survival check to see if I can notice any sort of tracks left behind by humanoids specifically.
Humans specifically? Go ahead.
Uh, 19 with disadvantage.
All right. So what did you get on the first roll that with disadvantage? You're at 19.
I rolled an 18 and a 14 on the die, and I have a +5 to survival.
Okay. I was just like, holy moly. So
Yeah,
you would notice like one definitive set of tracks that would lead in the direction of that kind of cutout in the brush. So essentially, it kind of looks like when you take a machete through the jungle, and it kind of has like some of the brush kind of cut out.
But only one set of footprints.
Well, you can only notice one set of human footprints. The other ones kind of seem to be indistinguishable, or at least you can't really figure out what's going on with them.
And Safi would kind of kneel down, kind of brush away some of the dirt from the footprints, noticing pretty handily that there definitely was at least one humanoid track, and she would kind of see there's at least one here, and he's got company, but it doesn't look to be human.
At this point, Fibbin is going to be like, well, if we want to find what we want to find before they do, I say we go. And as Safi's kneeling, he puts his hand on her back and just kind of sideways vaults over and just starts down the trail.
So are you guys going to follow the set of footprints, or are you guys going to make your own way?
I'm following the footprints even though I don't know where they're going because I'm not tracking them. I'm just following the brush cuts.
Okay, awesome.
I'll follow behind.
Yeah, take the footstep path with the cutout pathway through the brush, rather than try and go head first into some bushes.
All right, so who would be in front? What would be kind of the order as which you guys would be following this path?
I think I'm in front just because I jumped over Safi and took off my own.
I'll be next.
Sure, I'll probably be after that.
Okay.
Elf separate.
Take up the rear.
All right, so Wobbles would be kind of in the back, probably second from the back then. So as you guys kind of follow this, you end up at a like a cross cutout, where it's essentially like a Y in the road. There appears to be 2 separate paths from where you guys are that both seem to have been cut out. You have one on the left and one on the right. So which way are you guys going?
I'm going to actually stop and bend down right here and be like, I've got this. I've read about how to do this. And he'll actually, in the process of picking up dirt to figure out which way the footprints went, completely erase like 3 footprints picking up the dirt and just like shovel it around in his hands and be like, this way. And he points to the right.
So the question is everybody actually listening to him, or?
Is the question.
I would look back to Hope to see what Hope would suggest, since we traveled together before.
Well, I don't think it would be very safe to split up, so I am with you, Vivian.
I imagine Wobbles being pretty wise as himself, Elf wouldn't even be listening. He'd be pondering why there were cutouts leading 2 different directions. And it's usually just the thought, usually if people are wanting to get somewhere, they would pick one path. So he's kind of trying to puzzle that out.
So who's over a century years old in the party? I know Wobbles.
Me.
Probably just Wobbles and Tordak.
I'm not even a quarter of a century old.
Yeah, I know you're not even that old. So the 2 people that are over a century years old, give me a lore check to see what you guys know about Cohog.
Lore? You mean history?
Would it be like history?
I think that's like history, yeah.
I am actually going to do a history on it, but I want to tie it to if there is magic items involved with what I might know of its name. Simply because of one of my mechanics is I get advantage on the roll on certain types of history checks.
So then what did you get, Jaren?
Gonna be a minute. So that will be a 15.
Okay. So those of you, so the 2 of you would realize that this is standard for Cohog himself. It's like one path leads to his actual, treasure trove, and one path leads to everyone's death. Do with that information what you will.
So, knowing this, Bubbles would relay it to the group and explain that a lot of the deaths in the tales are done by magical effects. And that they often seem to be quite painful, almost as if this man and had a fondness for torturing his victims before finally allowing their demise.
I don't suppose the map gives us any indication, Tordik.
He will look closer at the map, seeing if like the X gives any details, or if it just like if they put the X over something, so he like will squint at it.
Give me investigation at disadvantage.
Alrighty. Investigation. So yeah. 3.
Yeah, no, it just looks like an X over an island. That's it.
You got to find an X, lads.
Wow. Thanks. I'm so glad you brought the map.
You're welcome.
So, which way do you go?
My headstrong attitude will still take me right. I'm just like, I've pulled wand out, quarterstaff in the other hand, and I'm just walking down the trail.
So is everybody leaving him to see what he does, or is everybody following him to make sure that the young kid doesn't die?
I would like to make a either a dexterity or sleight of hand to try and grab him by his collar before he goes off and gets us all noticed.
Go ahead if you like.
Wow, some good rolls. Incredible rolls tonight. I can't believe this. And with disadvantage too. Like it's like you told me I had exhaustion, so my dice are like, you know what? Let's see. So, all right, 15 total.
So then, Fiv, give me an opposed strength.
Oh, strength. No.
I know you got that strength, bud.
Oh yeah. Let's see that. See if that plus 0 gets me. I got 11.
So you're able to do so.
Which path were you going down? The left side?
Right.
Right side? Okay. So as you kind of just turn around, big your shoulders up and start to walk, you just, if you're going to go out there, try not to get us all killed. She reaches in the pack or into her side and pulls out a little handful of ashes. She lets you go for the moment. Come here, everyone. She just throws a bunch of ash up into the air, and as it kind of falls down to the ground, it starts to shimmer a little bit. I am casting Pass Without a Trace. That is my first second level spell of the day.
Vivian will watch on in amazement because he's extremely. He loves a good mystery, loves a good spell, and loves knowledge. He's like, what is that? What kind of magic is that? How do you do that? Can you teach me how to do that?
In time, young one. Let us go. And for everybody, Pass Without Trace is essentially a +10 to your dexterity stealth rolls. And we are untrackable other than by magic means, and we do not leave behind footprints or any sort of tracks.
Awesome. Probably would have been a good thing when you got onto the island, but whatever.
It's okay. The tracks just go cold right here at the fort.
That is also true. So then is everybody going right then? Seeing as you guys
I am.
Okay. I don't care about anybody else. I am. I'm 20 years old. I know what the hell I'm doing.
I've read every book in existence. I know what to do.
You see, he wobbles reach into his pouch, and he pulls out this small bronze raven and bends over, tinkers with it a moment, winding it up, and he'll set into his little clockwork thing to head to the left. Won't really be able to tell too much other than some basic terrain. And then whether or not it comes back within like 15 minutes. It's and then he just looks at everyone else, and you see his body start to shrink, ink and feathers appear on it as he turns into a small raven and starts flying up among the trees and vines.
So you're casting, or you're sending your familiar down the left, and then you're turning into a
Wild.
raven?
Yep, wild shape.
Okay, so then which way are you going? Because technically, as a bird, you can technically fly straight, realistically, if you really wanted to.
Yeah, I would be following the group.
And really, you could just ride on someone's shoulder.
I'm not getting caught in no trap. Wobbles is too fabulous for that.
That's true, because Fibbin's paying no attention. Like, he's walking like brisket. Like, this is just some jogging, some hike in the park or something.
So then I'm assuming Fibbin is walking in front? Yes.
I mean, yeah, you'd have to be walking pretty fast to try and get past him, I guess.
All right, so give me a D100.
Like, would you ask me to do that? What is this? 71.
All right, give me a dex saving throw.
It's a 13. Oh, wait, we have a plus 10 to that, right? Because the pass out trace, that give you a advantage on dex?
Dex
That's
stealth.
Stealth, that's right, not just dex, stealth. So yeah, 13.
All right. So give me a D6.
Oh, God. 5.
You take 5 points of damage as you fall into a hole. Essentially, it's like one of the grass laid over it, and you fall into it.
Cool, that's great.
What's everybody else doing? I mean, essentially, you just watch your companion just watching people fall into a hole.
Yeah, you would just hear from down the hole. There's a hole.
I'll go over to the hole and see if he's all right.
And
As
then,
I'm walking up, I'm just getting my rope ready.
and as you are doing this, you just say, almost as if Wobbles is laughing at.
Swear to God, Wobbles. I swear to God. Let's not forget, I walked in that night on the boat. I know what happened.
I would like to. I'd like to
What
throw
the hell
down.
happened on the boat? Hold
Yeah,
on, I'm
yeah.
really curious
Go
what
ahead.
the hell
Go ahead.
happened on the boat.
Sure, I'll take 10 minutes to hear this.
Oh, no, I'm not going to tell him this. That's information I have to use to blackmail him, so it'll come out at some date.
All right, I want a long description on this one later on. All right, Wobbles, what is your response to this? All right, go ahead, Josh.
I was just saying, I think I have an explorer's pack. Let me check. Yeah, I have some rope, 10 feet of hempen rope. I would like to toss down to him. Hopefully, it's not more than 10 feet down.
No, essentially it's probably like 6 feet or so, just because of how quickly he was walking. He didn't bother to pay attention.
Yeah, when the rope comes down, he'll kind of help. He'll pocket his wand and his little sheath that he has for it. You'll see the stick fly up and land, and then him just kind of crawl up after it as he's pulling up the rope and just picks his stick back up and goes, well, there can't be more than that, right? And just walks around the hole and keeps going.
By the gods, young one, you're going to get us killed.
I
I thought your spell was supposed to help with that.
Yes, it does not help your perception.
Clearly.
During this time, Wobbles would just kind of be flying up to the top of the canopy, trying to look out, see if he can see anything as far as direction they're heading, in any movement that he might spot. But
All right, so
I would imagine he'd stay within like 60 feet of the party.
So are you flying ahead or flying up?
Mostly up, but I imagine probably a little bit ahead, and then just kind of keeping maybe 10, 15 feet ahead of the group.
Mm-hmm. All right, so go give me a perception at advantage.
So, that will be 21. And
All right, so you are able to see in the direction that the party is moving. You had just reached above the brush, so it's not completely clear. There's still some trees and stuff that block everything, but there does seem to be some sort of rock structure off in the distance of the way that you guys are walking. Now you do see like some smoke and stuff kind of really close to that stone area. But that's about all you'll notice from where you're at.
okay, he would use like an to message. It's probably the other druid, and tell him what he's seeing in an approximate distance.
All right. So, other druid, how are you responding when you get this information?
Which way did you fly off? In the opposite direction? Or in the same direction as us, just as a bird?
Same direction.
Okay.
Same. So he said like 10 feet in front, and then he flew up into the air, like above the tree line.
Okay. Safi would kind of hold her arm out to the other two following. Steven, hold on.
What?
Wobbles has found a rock of some sort, some smoke plumage. We're definitely not alone. It is best to stay frosty. Be careful. Let us be quiet as we make our way.
Fiven will be like, okay, all right. He'll slow down. He'll start like almost using his quarterstaff now as like one of the blind men walking sticks. It's kind of like tapping as he walks.
All right. So then you'll have advantage on any sort of traps that I might throw at you if you're using it like that way. All right, so then I'm assuming everybody is continuing straight on. All right, awesome. As you guys kind of walk, you guys are walking for a good half hour or so down this path. And you begin to see a clearing and the gray rock formation coming up in front of you guys. It's just beyond this tree line. And you do hear the crackling of the fire. And you do hear some laughing and some just random, people talking here and there, screaming going on, probably, to drinks of, stuff like that. So what are you guys doing?
You hear that?
I would imagine Robo's being an Raven from could probably get pretty close. Oh, so he would just message his companions, telling them to stay hidden and go flying like a normal bird to see what we can overhear.
Revelry. I wonder what they're celebrating. Bubble says to stay low. We must be careful.
Yes, the mystery unfurls further, and Fiven will grip his wand a little tighter, and you'll see the tip of it start to get like a little blue and like crusty white as he's like preparing frostbite for anything hostile that comes at him. Or not hostile, anything that comes at him really that he doesn't know, he's probably going to cast it.
Okay. So are you guys going to approach the group, or are you guys just going to stay hidden and watch?
Well, Wobblestead stay low. I think probably, I guess stay low. He seems to have a good aerial view. That seems to make tactical sense, right?
Yes, let us stick to it. You will tell us when it's time to act.
Hopefully soon.
So then, Jaren, give me a perception.
That will be a 22, which is a nat 20.
Oh, awesome. So I almost imagine that you come and rest up on the tree that's closest, like at the very end of the tree line. So the closest to every, the scene. You see a fire, and there's about 4 or 5 humanoid type creatures. There appears to be 2 that are actually human. One's like a dwarf type creature. One actually seems to be some sort of dragon-born chained up on the farther left-hand side. And there is... I am forgetting what I had put down. Hold on, give me 1 second. And then you see another tiefling, actually, out in the distance. And you see inside this stone, this massive stone wall, there's an outcutting. Almost, essentially, just think of a normal doorway, in real life, and that's exactly kind of how it looks. It looks almost too perfectly cut out to be natural.
Okay, and am I able to overhear and make out anything that's being said by any of these people?
You just hear them drinking, and you'd even see them drinking, talking about finding the biggest pot that they've ever caught or found. And then you see one other guy that kind of seems to be kind of in charge, which surprisingly seems to be the gnomish of the group, or not the dwarvish of the group. Kind of yelling at them, telling them to get back to work, and then they'd kind of get up and kind of like drunkenly, kind of like and kind of go back and start like hammering or like cutting some wood for the fire and stuff like that. And they're pretty much not really saying too much other than the fact that they seem to be onto a big score.
Okay. Hey, I would use message it to the other druid to tell about the Dragonborn chained up for 5 guards, led by a couple different races, and that they're savaging the land, which is a big no-no when druids are around.
There are many of them, 5 of them led by a dwarf. Wobble says, and they are they're mistreating Mother Tiira. We must do something about this.
Dwarves. And then Fibon kind of look over his shoulder and be like, sorry. As he looks at Tordek. They're okay. What's our plan?
How far are we from the group?
As far as the actual people that I had described, essentially, you would be able to see the stone wall out in the distance. Like you can tell that the forested area that you guys are walking through ends soon, but I wouldn't say that you are like super duper close. Probably like a move. I guess to put it in combat language, like a action and a half.
So we don't have vision on them, just Wobbles has vision.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's time that we move up. I know that they are on the far side of this rock.
I would imagine that would be like 100 to 120 feet to the furthest edge where probably perched. And then
I probably wouldn't say
30,
that far. Yeah.
Exactly.
Let us move. Just do your best to stay low. Don't draw any attention. I have an idea.
All right. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna sneak forward, but I'm actually particularly looking for that chained up Dragonborn that had been mentioned.
Yeah, it's on the farthest of the left. Wobbles would have told you that the Dragonborn was tied up farthest on the left.
Yeah, so I'll sneak in with intent to look for that, and then whatever comes in my way, I guess.
All right, so give me a stealth check, and then I'm going to say that this is the only round that the passive without a trace will actually have any sort of meaning on. So you'll get a +10 to stealth.
Yeah, of course that would happen when I roll an 18. So that would be a 30.
I'm gonna follow. Do you want me to roll as well?
Yeah. I what?
15 with disadvantage.
So yeah, Fivin, you can get through without any sort of noise kind of coming through. Like, as brashly as you were going through, it's almost a miracle to see you kind of bob and weave through the brush as well as you kind of did. Saft, you kind of struggle a bit. I'm almost assuming that you didn't notice a couple logs and kind of tripped over them, making a bit of noise. Not a huge amount, but it does seem like one or two of the people that were kind of on guard kind of start to take note that there's some weird noises coming from the woods. But for the most part, you do get over there, other than the fact that one of them kind of is hearing everything or heard something coming from the woods. So what are you trying to do, Fiven?
Well, if would I have made it to the Dragonborn, like all the way up to him, or no?
You'd still be within the woods. Now it's going to be a whole lot harder if you're trying to approach because he's like on the left-hand side, kind of close to the woods, but not close enough to the woods where you can stay in the woods and still like get to him or her.
But he's got his back to the woods, or it has its back to the woods.
Yes, because
Okay.
he has it. So essentially, the Dragonborn has the like shackles around its neck, and it's like pulled down to the floor with like a guard on its mouth that keeps its mouth shut.
Okay, I'm gonna try then and use the wood line and get behind it, but stay in the woods.
All right. So you can go ahead and give me another stealth.
No past out of trace, right?
No.
Of course not, because I'm gonna roll like a 1 on this one, or 5. So that's 7.
Oh God. All right. So I'd say that you're still able to get around to it, but the wild Dragonborn has noticed you. And I'd say the people that had heard Saft moving through the woods also heard as you were kind of going through. And they begin to kind of essentially sober up from all their drinking and are very much so on guard, especially now that they see that the Dragonborn is staring right at you. Its gold eyes looking deeply into your very being.
I'm gonna look back with my gold eyes and just like kind of think for a minute, trying to recall the information, and whisper to it in Draconic, or at least so that it can hear me. It's like, no. We're here to help you. Shh. I'm trying to help you.
Are you trying to deceive or persuade?
Persuade. I'll roll
All
the
right,
persuasion.
so go ahead and give me a persuasion.
Persuasions. It's a 13.
It snarls at you. Its primitive nature of just surviving, kicking in, realizing that as of right now, you still seem just as much a threat as everybody else. And now the guards are approaching closer and closer to where your position is.
Okay. I'll let someone else
So-
do something if they want to.
Yeah, I was going to say we'll take a break from that. And Saf, did you want to do anything before we move over to the other two?
Taken, let them go.
Okay, so I know Wobbles is on the tree line watching all of this happen. So Damien and Luke, what are you guys doing?
I'm just standing behind, watching all this happening, trying to stay low, out of sight.
So essentially you are approaching closer to where everything is, where you can actually have a visual
Yeah.
on everything happening. What about you, Luke?
I'd say Tordak is actually farther back, considering he still has the map up blocking his vision to try and determine where everything is. Even though it was clearly like at some points he's moving left to right. See if he can line up the X with how he's walking.
Mm-hmm. All right, awesome. So Wobbles, are you doing anything special now that you kind of see as all these people start to move closer and closer to where Fiven and Saft are?
I am mad at the Wobbles would go ahead and fly almost directly over the people who seem to have noticed, heading towards the dragon run. And then he gets the hill land behind him kind of tucked out of sight, change back into the gnome. And you speak with animals to try to calm the dragonborn and let them know we're friends.
Okay, so you're essentially trying to turn back into a gnome in front of this dragonborn. Is that correct?
Behind him.
Or behind him?
I'm putting him in between me and the guards.
Roll me a stealth to see if you're able to transform without other people noticing. Essentially, a bird magically transformed back into a gnome.
Okay, would I still get the effects of the past without a trace this round?
No.
Okay, then that will be a 16.
All right, so, wow, okay. So for whatever reason, this actually works, because thematically, I don't understand how that would work, but it works.
Probably because of my small size hiding behind the dragonborn.
And you want to use speak with animals? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Does speak with animals apply to dragonborn?
I believe it probably would in our setting because we had said we wanted them to be kind of savage beast-like.
Yeah, they're not necessarily intelligent, yes.
Yeah. So I would imagine it would, because animal intelligence is pretty much anything lower than your normal human.
Yeah, okay. Go ahead and... All right, what are you saying to this dragonborn?
Pretty much just calm yourself, we're friends, we're here to help. As much, and I'm speaking as much as an animal as I can be in the druid.
So I don't know how I want to do this, because I'm almost assuming that that has a verbal component, right? To actually speak with the animal?
Yeah, which a raven can mimic. Kind of like David. Only not as well.
Well, the reason I'm pointing that out is it's just because the other people are on guard, so I'm trying to establish whether or not they would notice.
Yeah.
Like someone actually being able to speak in the dragonborn or the draconic language, seeing as they know that the dragonborn that they have has like the guard on its mouth, so obviously it wouldn't be able to talk or open its mouth. Well, that's where I'm kind of like,
yeah, that might get there being directly behind him. They may not know exactly where it's coming from.
yeah, they don't notice anything. All right, so go ahead and give me a persuasion to convince the dragonborn that you're a friend, or that to just calm down.
That will be an 18.
All right, so the dragonborn goes from the broad-shouldered beast of a creature that it was, And you can watch as its shoulders begin to kind of drop down a little bit more and seem a little bit more relaxed. What are you telling it? What are you trying to have it do?
Not really much of anything other than just recognize that we're friends here to help it.
All right. Now, are you doing anything to the Dragonborn? Are you trying to...
Not yet. I imagine this should have just me trying to calm it down.
Okay. So if that's the case, and that's the only thing you're trying to do, give me a stealth at disadvantage, because by this point, the guards would have been almost parallel with the Dragonborn.
Okay, that is actually my lowest roll so far at 14.
I hate this because he's actually hitting the DCs that I have for this, so it really suck. All right, so for whatever reason, I guess they're too far staring off into the woods that they don't necessarily notice you or pay attention to you.
And I imagine part of it's probably that them being intoxicated as well, kind of throwing the senses out of whack.
All right, so we're going to take a second from that. And Saft and Fiven, give me stealth to see if the guards are able to notice you.
14.
15.
All right, so Fiven, you, for whatever reason, shut up for once in your life and stayed still for once in your life, and you weren't able to be noticed. Now, as far as you, Saft, for the most part, yeah, they don't really notice you. However, they will notice the horns on your head. But essentially, it just looks like horns on like a bush or something weird like that, where it could be really anything.
Okay. So there's the Dragonborn and 4 other humanoids, correct?
So essentially, Wobbles is standing right with the Dragonborn. So essentially, like right here is like Wobbles and the Dragonborn. You guys are like right here. I love how I'm like pointing at things. Like you can actually see like the 3-dimensional plane that I'm on here.
Theater of the mind.
So essentially, the Dragonborn and Wobbles is about 20 feet in front of you guys, and the guards currently are like parallel, almost in like a V-type formation between where you are and the 2 guards that kind of at least heard what was going on.
Okay, so they were making their way to check it out.
Yeah, so essentially they heard something and they went to go check it out. Yeah.
All right, the guys that are immediately in front of me, Safi kind of just runs her hands across the leaves and the bark of the trees. She puts her hands into the ground, kind of just rubbing her fingers back and forth, kind of trying to shake the dirt off and kind of bury her hands beneath the dirt. And all of a sudden, that dirt where her hands is buried, it just starts to glow. And then small vines start to sprout out from there. And they just start to like cascade forward in a line towards the group of individuals in front of them. And I'm going to cast Entangle on them. All of them that are in a 20-foot range, just so that I don't hit the Dragonborn and Wobbles. I'm just trying to catch the guys that are coming towards us.
Well, so essentially the Dragonborn was here, and then there was one on the left and one on the right. I kind of did that a little backwards.
Okay,
so you would only be able to entangle one, or you would be able to entangle all of them, but you would entangle the Dragonborn and Wobbles in the process.
That's fine. I'm gonna get them all. I'd rather catch everybody than one person.
All right. So, what is the saving throw or whatever?
1 second. Damn it. I'm the worst. Entangle. Strength saving throw, or will be restrained by the entangling plants until the spell ends. And it is a DC 13.
All right. So Wobbles do a strength saving throw. All right. So the one on the left is entangled. The Dragonborn is not. And the guard on the right are entangled. Oh my gosh. How did that completely avoid the Dragonborn?
So everybody except the Dragonborn.
And I got a 15, so that made it as well.
All right, so explain to me how you cast this, and it literally only gets the 2 people that you wanted.
It's like, I like to imagine that it's just like a line of vines that kind of rips through the dirt and forms like almost a circle around the perimeter. Or it's actually a cube. Just kind of forms like a cube around the perimeter. And then vines just start to sprout up and grab at whatever's in them. So it would be more about their strength to be able to avoid it on my part, less than me trying to make a precision grab. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, awesome. So now everyone else in the vicinity, so the other 3 have noticed. The 2 are ensnared. Oh my goodness, this is going to be a pain in the butt for initiative. But everybody roll for initiative. Or I guess the 2 that are staying on the outskirts. What are you guys doing while the other 3 roll for initiative?
As soon as I see vines pop up everywhere, I'm getting my rapier out, ready to go.
And Luke, sir?
As I can recognize this combat starting, that he'll quickly put his map away and he'll pull out his longbow.
Okay, cool. So then, yeah, everybody give me... oh, gosh. So... Oh, wait, so I would still do initiative. I'll do that are entangled. 9. All right, so who wants to be kind and put everybody in order?
Are those individual monsters rolls?
Those are the different people.
Something just from one DM to another that I found is a cool trick is to have one roll for a group. So they all go at the same time.
Oh yeah, okay. The 2 that are entangled. So just do the top 3 numbers, because they'll do 3 different. That would make sense. Try to minimize the randomness. And then Damien is a 19. All right. Well, no matter what, Jaren, you're gonna be able to go first.
Okay. Now you said the dragon and broom was muzzled, but is that like a chain muzzle as well, or leather? Or...
I really want to make a joke out of that one. Okay, who saw? It would be chain and leather. Something that I'm sure you would know all about.
Okay.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
Okay. I imagine that it's and then seeing as there's like leather straps mixed in with the chains, and Bobbles would pull out a dagger and be trying to cut through the leather straps to try to free the dragonborn. Continuing to talk with the speak with animals. Don't worry, fella. I'll get you through soon. And hoping to convince him to help us attack his captors. It's in the long run.
Okay, I can see where you're going with that. So give me a attack roll and a strength, a strength check and an attack roll.
Okay, the strength check will be a 13. And the attack rolls at 17.
All right, so you're able to cut about halfway through the leather binds. The dragonborn itself seems to start to get really riled up.
And I'm just doing my best to kind of keep him calm and as I'm trying to free him.
So yeah, I mean, you can. So essentially, that's about all I can probably say realistically that you could have probably done on this turn.
Yeah, I figure it's gonna probably take a couple turns to get him free.
All right. So the next in order would be Dale.
I'm just going to walk out and just say, who's ready to dance as I prepare a dodge action with my rapier.
So the opposite way of where I was expecting you to go.
Very much so.
As I prepare a dodge action.
Okay, so is that all you're gonna do?
Yep. Just waiting for them to come running at me, and I'm ready to dodge.
Okay.
I think that's me next.
Yeah.
So I'm still in that wood line. So how many people are in front of me now? There's two on either side of the Dragonborn.
So there's two on either side of the dragon, or one on each side of the dragonborn that are entangled, and then there's the dwarf, and then two other humanoid kind of type creatures behind the dwarf.
How far is the dwarf compared to like the three in front of me with the Dragonborn and stuff?
The dwarf itself would probably be about 25 feet.
Okay. Fivin's still squatting in the woods. Squatting in the woods. takes out his wand. Sorry. Takes out his wand and holds it up to his mouth, and he's got his hand cupped around just like this, and you just hear him like lightly trying to blow, like he's starting to fire. And then he stands up and points it out and braces himself like he's about to fire a shotgun. Aims at the dwarf, and he's going to do the Agonzar's Scorcher, so the dwarf has to make a dex save. It's 30 feet long by 5 feet wide, so if there's anyone else in the way, they're going to have to do that too.
And if they're already entangled, that's an automatic failure, right?
Yes. Yeah, I mean, you have to refer to Safi on that one.
On what, a dexterity saving throw?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah.
assume it probably
I
failed.
mean, they're entangled.
Yeah, I'm almost 100% sure that they fail it.
Yeah, it's automatic for hitting anyone who's been entangled.
So 16 plus. What was it? A dex?
DC 14.
Okay, well 16 on die, so he's able to dodge it
Not dodge it.
or
So-
take half or whatever.
Yeah. So he stands up and like this swirling flame just erupts from his wand. He tries to like brace it, and they're able to duck a little bit, but they still take like a good scorch along top of the head for 9 damage, or well, half of 9, so 4.
All right. So 4 damage. Okay. All right. So
And then I'll use my move to kind of along the wood line. I'm still moving towards the cave entrance, the door, whatever it is.
All right. So then you said 9 damage. So that would mean
4 damage for them, yeah, or 5 if you want to round up. However you want to do it.
no. Just because they were all kind of walking together, so the guys in the back would have still been in line with that, or at least one of them would have been. But he also rolled a net 1 on that, which would be double damage. So that would be 18. Right here. And then that would have also been 37. And then that would have automatically been a crit on that. So that would have also been minus 18. Okay. Sorry, just want to make sure I did all the math right. All right, so the dwarf only took 4 points of damage. So essentially, as this went out, the guy who was entangled got a good gist of it. And then the dwarf was able to kind of, I guess, duck down maybe or something. I don't know. And kind of only take half of that initial hit. And then the guy that was right behind him took the blunt of it and also took 18 points of damage. So awesome for the first official attack. So Tordek.
Yep. So targets we have are what again? They're
So
there's 5. One's a dwarf, and then the rest are technically like humanoid.
it's all right. Okay, so I'm gonna use my Kensei shot to use a bonus action on my turn to make my range attacks with that weapon more deadly. So any target I hit with a range attack using a Kensei weapon takes an extra D4 damage of the weapon's type. So I'll do that for my bonus action, and then I'm going to, as my action, attack the dwarf with my longbow.
All right, go ahead and roll for an attack.
That is 17 plus 4, so that's 21.
Yeah, that'll hit.
So that is oh, okay. That let me math. That'll be 6 damage in total.
Okay, awesome. Awesome.
And then I'll move 35 feet forward, which is
So forward into where everybody else is.
yep.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, you'd make it out of the you'd make it out. You'd probably be close to the stone rock formation. I don't think. Let me roll for that. Yeah, no one would have noticed that you kind of appeared or like got past there. And essentially, everybody's back is turned towards you except for the Dragonborn, which at this point I don't necessarily say would be qualifying as hostile. All right, now it's everybody, everybody else that is attacking. So, Saft for the entangle. What is it? A strength, a reroll for strength.
Yeah, they can use their action to take a strength roll to try and break it.
All right, so the one on the left will not make it, and then the one on the right got a 17. So I'm assuming he breaks free.
Yeah, it's a DC 13.
All right, awesome. So he essentially is able to use his might and his muscles to just essentially rip and shred these vines apart, reaching down for his sword, and that's about all he'll be able to do. That one will be staying there. The dwarf, noticing that Wowls is going after trying to free the Dragonborn, will go to attack him, which I'm pretty sure that misses. That's like, yeah, no, that's only like a 7 to hit. So essentially now you have the dwarf standing right in front of you, Wobbles, and he tried to come down on you with his sword, and he ends up missing. Give me a D20 roll, Wobbles.
That will be an 11.
All right, so the sword comes down on some of the chains that bound the Dragonborn. You will have an extra D6 on your next roll to try to get him free if that's what you choose to do. And then the 2 in the rear. Yeah, that one's not gonna hit, and neither is that one. All right, so then Saft or Safit.
Okay, so as far as the group of 3 that were standing off to the side, are they still kind of like clumped up?
Yeah, so kind of, yeah. So the one on the right just got free. The 2 that were walking with the dwarf are now kind of approaching the Dragonborn. The dwarf is already kind of at the Dragonborn. And then you have the one that's still entangled.
Okay. I'm going to go for the 2 that are approaching the dwarf. I'm going to cast Ice Knife, which is a first level spell. And I make a ranged attack against the target. So I'm just going to go for the one on the left. That's a 21 to hit.
That'll hit.
All right. That's one. Okay, so he takes 10 points of cold damage. And then the shard explodes, and I need both of them to make a dex saving throw. DC 13.
All right, so the one that got hit with it, and which other one, the dwarf? Or
No, the other guy that was coming up.
Oh, okay,
with
the one on the right. Okay.
Yeah, just the one closest to him.
Oh god. Okay, I have to get rid of this die. Nat one on the one
keep
that
it.
initially got hit, and that's not much better. A 4 on die, which I'm almost assuming no matter what their modifier would be, that's gonna not. Yeah.
They both take an additional 9 cold damage.
28.
And that's Ice Knife, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow. Okay, you literally just put the guy at 0 hit points. So describe how the one that initially got hit with that ice knife dies.
Okay, so I like to imagine that it's just like Sephi has her arm down, and that kind of cold runs down her arm and into her fingertips. And down her fingertips, as she forms her hand around like a dagger of ice, essentially. And she just chunks it down the way, hits the guy right in the chest. The ice starts to spread as he takes the initial brunt of it, and then it just, boom, like blows out his chest cavity as the shards shatter into the next guy.
Oddly specific and rather gruesome, but it's awesome. All right, so back to the top of the order. Wobbles. So essentially in front of you, this dwarf tried to attack you, giving you that extra d6. You're trying to let the dragonborn free, and this guy that was essentially behind the dwarf essentially gets hit with this ice blow into his chest, blowing out its entire upper chest area right in front of your face.
Oh, I think Wobbles would be so intent on freeing this animal, because that's how he would see Dragonborn, that he would ignore the earth and pretty much what's going on and continue to work to free the Dragonborn.
Okay, awesome. So then give me another strength and another an attack, and you can add the 6 to either or.
The strength was 15, and adding it to the attack damage would be a total of 9.
All right, so there's only a very, very thin sliver left of the thing that was covering the Dragonborn's mouth. You can see it kind of start to collapse on the top, where his mouth is almost completely free.
I would then switch over to start working towards like freeing the legs and arms of his creature, figuring he's probably strong enough to just burst through what's left of the muzzle.
Okay. Awesome. And so Dave.
How close is the nearest enemy?
Which one did you attack? Because you had kind of stayed behind, and then you just kind of readied your rapier. You never actually engaged in combat. Then the closest one would probably be either the one that is still ensnared, or the one that was essentially hit from the explosion of the ice knife.
How
I'd
many?
say those are probably the two that are closest to you.
How many feet away?
They're both probably about 25 feet.
All right, I'll run up to the one that got hit with the ice knife, or was next to the person got hit by the ice knife, and I'll attack.
Okay, go ahead.
That'd be a modded 20 to hit.
All right, you hit.
All right. That'd be 7 points of damage.
Alrighty.
Then, as a bonus action, I'm going to use one of my Bardic Inspiration die to do a defensive flourish. Which
Okay,
I
what is
roll
that?
it. I'll roll the dice, and whatever number is on the 6-sided dice, I add to my AC.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm using the new College of the Sword from Xander Guide. Not Xander. Yeah, Xander Guide.
Xanathar? Yeah.
Yeah. And that would be a +5 to my AC. So 21 to my AC right now.
Holy. Okay. Holy moly. All right, is that your full action?
Yep.
Awesome. So Fiv.
All right. There's still one that's entangled, right? That's taking some damage.
Yes.
So he'd probably be the closest to me. As Fiven, he takes his wand, he kind of twirls it, puts it back in his sheath, and looks over and goes, Deo, they'll write songs about the hero of Wildstone this day. And he just starts screaming and running towards this guy that's on the ground with his quarterstaff raised above his head like it's a great sword. And he just runs up and just cracks this guy across the skull.
The one that's entangled?
Yes. And as he does it, there's a low-hanging branch, so as he's running, one of the splinters in his quarterstaff catches this branch, and as he comes down, he realizes he doesn't have the quarterstaff in his hand. And he's just standing next to this entangled guy, just looking around like, maybe you should skip this verse.
No, I think I'm going to keep this one right in there.
Fine. And I'll just turn around and start trying to like shake my thing loose, the thing from the tree. I rolled a 9 if anyone wanted to know. That's why.
Yeah, understandable. So Tordek, I will still be listening, but I have to take care of something real quick. So I'll be listening, but in case I don't respond, that's why.
All right. Tordek will, now that he's somewhat within combat distance, he will put his longbow back across his back, and he will pull out his secret special Kensai weapon, his whip. And he will move another 35 feet towards the target. If the dwarf is in 35 feet, unless the dwarf's gone down, I don't.
So what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to move another 35 feet forward and hit the dwarf with my whip if he's within 35 feet.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Roto attack.
Oh, it's
You might
auto.
just get Wobble's attention by doing that, but yeah, go ahead.
If it hits, it's an auto crit. Okay. In that case, that is Oh, 19 plus 6. So
Yeah, that's a hit.
25. Yep. Woohoo. So it's an auto crit, is that what you said?
Yeah,
The one that's entangled, it would be an auto
entangled.
crit, no?
Yeah,
But you're attacking the dwarf, which has not been entangled.
Okay. So it's just a regular hit. That's fine. So that will be okay. So that's gonna be five damage. And I'm gonna use my bonus action. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna spend a key point to make 2 unarmed attacks as bonus action.
Okay, go ahead.
Alrighty. The first one is 15.
That'll hit.
And the second one is 12 plus 6, so 18.
Those will both hit.
Sweet. So the first one is 6 damage. And the second one is also 6 damage.
So the 3 of your attacks is 666. Just wanted to point that out.
And also, because I made a unarmed strike as part of my attack action on my turn, and I'm holding my Kensei weapon, I can use it to defend myself as a melee weapon. So until the start of my next turn, my AC is now 16 instead of 14.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. The dwarf is definitely not looking good. The blood from the whip probably slashed his face, cutting his eye. And the punching him probably in the back or something like that, probably definitely throwing his game off. He's going to redefine his attention over to you, Tordek. And he's going to try to attack you, Tordek. So let's see. And that is not going to work. I got a 4 on dice again. Oh my goodness, my dice don't like me tonight. So essentially, as he turns around, the blood getting in his face just causes him to completely misjudge his aim as he brings down his short sword just probably a foot away from you. And then the one that's left that's standing with him will also try to attack you, which it's 17 on dice, which I'm assuming hits you. Yeah, all right, so then D8. Now where's my D8? Of course I don't have my D8. I'm just going to grab one. So 4 points of damage. And then one of them is still entangled, so nat 20 to break out of it. So he's the only one that was still entangled is now out. And then the one on the right, who still hasn't had anyone attack him, now will go after Wobbles as well. For a 15 to hit, Wobbles.
that definitely hits.
All right, awesome. So 7 points of damage. And let's see, that's that. And now Safi.
All right. So Safi is just going to take this moment to kind of keep out of the fray. But before she brandishes her scimitar and runs head on into the fight, she clutches her staff on both sides and concentrates, closing her eyes. And it's almost as if another Safi is appearing right next to her in the exact same pose, and then another, and then another. And I'm casting Mirror Image using my last second level spell slot. And that's 3 illusory duplicates next to me. Basically, it just makes me harder to hit. So.
All right. So is that all you're doing?
Yeah, it's my full action. I don't really have anything to do on a bonus action. Actually, I could move in. Yeah, I'll move in. I'll move into melee range with the fray essentially. Just kind of pull out my scimitar and run in.
Awesome. So these essentially one person that looks like 3. So technically it would be 4 if you include the original, I guess. Just randomly jump out of the bushes and run towards all these other people that seem to be congregating around this single dragonborn. All right. So then Wobbles.
Okay. So first off, as my bonus action, I'm going to use my Circle of Dreamers feature upon myself. And regain 5 hit points and 1 temporary hit point. And then, I am looking at the bindings on the dragonborn for the arms and legs, and I would assume they're probably chain, not leather.
Yes, you would be correct in saying so.
So, I am going to see where the chains are bound to. I imagine it's some kind of pole or...
Yeah.
a post type thing.
Yeah, some sort of like metal post, yes.
And I am actually going to spend a second level spell slot to cast Moonbeam on the chain in between the dragonborn and the post, trying to basically cut through it.
Awesome.
And I
essentially like rip the chain apart.
Yeah. I imagine because it's the middle of the day, instead of a moonbeam, it's more of concentrated sunlight, turning almost into like a laser type effect.
Okay, so how does that work? What do you have to roll?
Well, moonbeam is technically a con save, but on an inanimate object, I don't think they have a con save.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't.
So it is 2d10 and damage. So 18 damage as basically this 5-foot wide, 40-foot tall cylinder appears.
Okay, so you realize you would probably be caught up in that, right? Technically, seeing as it's 5 feet wide.
I'm sure I would position it far enough away not to hit me, and hopefully not the dragonborn. That's why I kind of specified the chain.
Okay, we'll say that you're able to do it, and the chain begins to start to melt.
Awesome.
Now the dragonborn on one half of his body is now free. And he takes his claws and just rips off the other side of the chains. And everybody give me everybody that's around Wobbles, which I believe would be Fiven and Damien or Deo.
And do I need
Give
to
me
do
a
so as well?
Yes. Yes.
What are we doing?
Deck save.
Pick one I'm proficient in.
13 for me.
You said this was dex save?
Yes.
Alright. That'd be an 8 for me.
I got half of that.
You got a 4? Are you serious?
Actually, I got a 2, but my modifier put me up to a 4.
I mean, at least it's not. Oh, nat 1, I suppose.
Might as well be.
Look, I'm trying to at least make it look at least somewhat positive here.
Death is never positive. Just get it over with.
So 3d6.
Like, literally, if he does 12 damage to me at all, I'm dead. Like, dead. Not unconscious, dead.
Not unconscious, dead.
Yeah, because if you go negative your max hit points, you die. So if he gets negative,
Okay,
like,
well,
yeah.
You're literally 1 point away because it's 11 points of damage.
I am unconscious. I only had 7 because I fell in the trap.
Oh, damn.
No worries, I'll get it. Yeah, on my next turn.
And then Wobbles, you'll take half that, so you're at 5. And then what was yours, Damien?
I was at 8.
So you're also going to take 11.
Alright.
As you hear and the lightning just start to ooze out of its mouth, shooting straight forward. A matter of fact, let me roll for. And of course, the main guy's gonna miss or get it, and the other guy's gonna fail. So the guy who was with the dwarf dies, but the dwarf, for whatever reason, remains standing. So as of right now, is the guy on the right and the dwarf, but the dwarf is not looking good at all.
Yeah. Fiven would have just turned as soon as he saw the Dragonborn free and be like, Wobbles, you son of a... And at that point, he would have been hit with the lightning and just knocked out, fell backwards.
Awesome. So then next in the order would be Deo.
He'll look at his half-health companion, sighs, and then spare the dying. And that would be my action, I think.
Which essentially just what makes him stable?
Yeah, he's stable.
Okay, not back at 1 hit point, but just essentially
Stable.
back at 0.
Yep.
All right, yeah, okay. Awesome. So Fiv, you're stable.
But I have 1 hit point?
No.
Yeah.
Isn't he gets at 0?
What?
Yeah, he's
Oh, stable.
stable, but he's stable.
So essentially, you really can't do anything. So then we would skip you at that point and move on over to Tordek.
Tordek will continue to unleash whip and fist on this dwarf. So first he's going to attack with his whip. That is that's a 13.
That will barely miss.
Barely miss. Okay. And then I'll use another key point to make 2 more melee attacks.
Okay.
So that's 10, which is less than 13, and 9, which is less than 10. So all 3 of my attacks.
Yeah. Yeah, that was bad. All right, so then it's the dwarf and the other creature. So the dwarf is going to try to flee. So those who are directly around him, which would be Tordek, Jaren, or Tordek wobbles, and Fiv is down, and then Deo, what you were, yeah. So the 3 of you can get opportunity attacks if you care to.
No, voice. It's too loud for me to sleep.
Does a 10 hit?
No, I'm being serious, because
No.
you're really loud. You know, if you're telling me
11 plus 6, 17.
I want to participate.
I mean, you would have been able to, but you're down.
Okay.
I know.
As a standard action, I can actually move my Moonbeam, which is an attack in its own. So he needs to make a DC 12 con save.
He fails.
He'll take 18 damage.
All right, describe how you kill him.
I imagine this Sunbeam's still pretty intense, having basically just cut through a chain, and it just starts at the top, almost burrowing into the skull, and just disintegrates him into nothing but a pile of ash.
Okay. All right, so then now the only one left standing is the only guy who magically has not gotten hit this entire time, and he's also going to flee. But I don't believe anyone is close enough to him to do an opportunity attack. So essentially, this guy is disengaging and running off into the woods.
I could throw a dart at him.
He won't make it. I can move the Moonbeam 60 feet every turn.
Yeah, but you'd have to stay with it, no?
Nope, it's within 120 feet of my sight.
Oh, so you'd only really be able to do it up until the tree line, because after the tree line,
Yeah,
you can't really see.
yeah, I would have to start moving, but it can go quite a ways ahead of me.
All right, well, he's going to take his action, which is at the full 30 feet into the woods. So you guys are officially out of combat because he essentially has disappeared into the woods unless anybody wants to actually run after him to try to kill him, which I don't know if anyone does.
I would, but I can't.
I think we got bigger concerns considering the Dragonborn probably doesn't understand the rest of your friends yet as well.
Yeah, so you guys are out of combat.
So this Dragonborn is like not attacking us.
It's not so much that he's attacking you; it's just a wild beast, and because of the fact that he's been trying to do that for the entire time that he has been contained, and so as soon as everything kind of came off, it came out. So it necessarily wasn't specifically towards you all, but it ended up hitting you guys. Now, as soon as the other guy, the other enemy, runs off into the woods, the Dragonborn would start to smell the air and then chase after him.
Okay. Seeing as the Dragonbird's going to run on off instead of turning on my companions, and I would look or go over to my fallen companion and use Balm of the Summer Court. So you'll get 2d6 back with 2 temporary hit points. And then I can't use it again until a long rest.
Cool. I got 4 back.
Awesome.
Plus 2 hit points on temporary. Okay. So yeah, then I'll stand back up. You said they had like a little camp set up where we're at, right? That they were like
Yeah, they had already
singing.
had a camp set up, yes.
Whatever. Okay. I'm gonna get up. I'm not even gonna say anything to Wobbles because I'm just pissed that he let the Dragonborn loose in the first place. And walk over to the nearest barrel of ale, pull a cup off my belt, and just fill it and just start drinking it. And sit at the nearest table.
I'll join him.
Yes.
So, how was
And-
that epic fight?
See this song anywhere, I will find you.
I'll be waiting.
And as you guys kind of start to relax and probably start to sit around the fire and kind of take in everything that you guys had essentially encountered, you begin to hear loud growls and clanking from within the cave, causing random screams and screeches come from the opening of the cave. And that is where we will end tonight's session.
Cliffhangers. Nice. Well done.
Awesome.
So, thank you to everyone who has watched this and everybody who will watch this. This has been the first session of our new campaign. And for right now, we'll just label it the actual name of the world itself until we can come up with a name for it a little bit better. But the name of the world is Tiira. So this has been session 1 of Tiira. To anyone watching and to anyone who will watch in the future, may you always seek enlightenment and have an awesome rest of your guys' night.